From here is the Capitol. The other end of the street, a mile away, is the College of William and Mary. Beautiful, beautiful street scene. If you could have looked at this the way it was in the 1930s before Rockefeller money went back into the city as it was in colonial days, you would have found modern things like electric wires. You would have found gas stations and where people could pull up and fill up their, car with gas. They took all that away with the Rockefeller money and restored it. And when they restored it, they painstakingly restored it. They sought and they found things that were exactly the way they were. They might have to take a facade off of the building and restore it like it was. This house is really a neat thing, and I'm not going to really call it a house. When I first came here, there was a Victorian home there. You know the style when I say Victorian? You know what that looks like? It looks like the late 1800s. There's a lot of woodwork, and it's what you call gingerbread with a lot of little cutouts and things. Well, two little ladies lived there, and those two little ladies would never sell this particular property, and they held on to it until their deaths, and then after their deaths, Colonial Williamsburg was able to acquire it. They did what you learned this morning, and that is archaeological studies. They went back to what they knew about Colonial Williamsburg, and they found there was a coffee house there. So they recreated the coffee house on the very foundation where the original one was. If you also look at the Capitol to the left, this would be more like an administrative building, like an office building to support the Capitol. If you go one street over, that's where we'll spend a lot of time tomorrow. Also is one street over. So one street over is the jail. There's the cabinet maker shop. And there's other shops as you go up the street. When you get near the courthouse is Peyton Randolph House. On this street, this is what again I call in colonial times, this would have been more so the business end of town related to the Capitol. A lot of the taverns are up here on this end of town. Weatherburn's Tavern, Shields Tavern, King's Arms Tavern, Chowning's Tavern. Back behind the Capitol is Christiana Campbell's Tavern. That's where you're going to eat Saturday night. You're going to eat there Saturday night, and then you're coming to the Capitol to dance. So that's your Saturday night events before we leave for Monticello on Sunday morning. When I say the taverns, they would have had a lot of activity when the government was in session. And you know they would not have been in session year-round back then. So you have a lot of trade shops, like the wig maker shop, the silversmith shop, the milliner's shop. Down the street on the left is the, and again they moved some of these sites around. They moved some of the locations, but you have the blacksmith shop, like Anderson Blacksmith. Maybe on site they still have the tinsmith shop. They used to have the gun maker shop over here. Again, they may have moved it. So we're going to have to look at our new app and see where each of these is located. You see the flag over there? Where there is a flag out, that means that place is open for a particular day. So it's open today, and normally that one's going to stay open, but some of these may be open some days but not open the others. So when you can compare what's open today, what's open Friday, what's open Saturday, you'll know sort of how to plan your day. All right, do you have any questions when you look at this end of town? Again, this is your more colonial, historic, true to life area. Down there, on the other end is where you have Williams-Sonoma, you have the candy shop, you have the cheese shop, you have retros, you have the peanut shop, and all those things where you want to go shopping. It's fine to do that.